Hi everyone. Welcome to Temporary Worlds. My name is Doc. And Temporary Worlds, good lord, I don't even remember how to do this intro. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Doc. Welcome to Temporary Worlds, a project about playing and thinking through games. We are here to wrap things up. Hey, good evening. Good evening, Alexis Sterling Table. Thanks so much for joining. We're wrapping things up today. So it's been a little bit since we streamed. And for the last many weeks now, we've been working through a little custom challenge. We've given ourselves a little game design challenge of taking on some custom rules for playing Minecraft, and seeing what we can do with them, seeing what arises from giving ourselves a few restrictions that you wouldn't typically respect. Now, what are those restrictions, you might ask? Well, I actually really want to talk about them today. I really want to walk through all the different iterations of these rules. The basis has always been to restrict the chunks that you're allowed to use. That's why it's called the Chunk Challenge. So here's the very first edition of the rules. Actually, I think I might have updated this slide after I fixed some wording or something like that, but this is like one of the earliest slides, one of the earliest editions of the rules. And the rules are, you can only interact on chunks that are unlocked. You start with one chunk unlocked, your spawn chunk. Hardcore style rules apply, although you need commands, so this was just a thing I said you should do. And then, in the initial times, you would spend a level to unlock chunks on this scale, right? So the first new chunk that you get, you spend one level, and you would use an XP command to clear out your XP bar, set yourself back down a level. Second chunk, you have to build your way back up to 2 levels, then spend them all. Then build your way up to 3 levels, and then spend them all, and so on. And in this first version of the rules, I did recognize the need. The Minecraft music is really loud. Maybe it's just me? No, it's not just me. I think it might be a little loud. I'm just going to turn it down really quickly. Sorry. Just cut that a little bit. It's nice, but maybe drowning out a little bit. I did recognize that need for some sort of goal for the challenge. I mean, I think this is really interesting because Minecraft is such a game that is so ambiguous about its goal, and there are so many different kinds of goals that arise from it. I think that's what makes it an enduring game. You can do so many different kinds of things with it. But the first goal that I thought of was trying to just achieve advancements. And I don't think we ever really got the chance to test out that goal as a guide for this mode. And that might be something we want to circle back to and try again one day. But this is the first version of the rules. And, you know, this 2.0 is essentially the same thing, but I just rephrased that very long 4 there. But I did make one change. I made one change because in that first version of the rules we went through, I've got my little piece of paper here. Little paper ASMR. Crinkle tinkles. We went through at least 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 worlds, maybe even 6 or 7, I don't know, where we would start out and we would have a tough time getting started. We were very susceptible to skeleton. Yeah, crinkle tinkle. Sorry, not my best choice of phrase, but we had many attempts at different worlds where we kind of died very quickly. Skeletons were really threatening. We could never get enough iron to get a shield quickly enough. We were always lacking something. It took so long to unlock new chunks that sort of necessitated the rule change to 2.0, where I sort of changed it from spending levels to a level cap, right? So instead of spending one level to get a chunk 1 and spending 2 levels to get chunk 2, it's just whatever your level is, that is the unlock cap you can have for your chunks. And this was better. This really did allow us to go a little further. I do think, though, we implemented this around 6 or 7, around world 6 or 7, attempt 6 or 7 of this challenge. We still were dying. We were still dying to skeletons regardless. Because on hard mode with hardcore style, you've got, your save is just done when you die once, and you're locked on the hardest difficulty. And so I think that's where 3.0 came. And here, the rules are pretty much the same. We did end up saying play on hard difficulty, staying with that, but we gave ourselves this rule 3 here. If you die 3 times, you must delete your world. So this making a little softer of a rule to give you that little bit more cushion for the early game, and also for those little mistakes where you would fall from a great height or something like that. So. We didn't change the cap at all. We kept it based on that idea that you reach level 6, you get up to 6 chunks. So we kept it like that. Oh, just pardon my cat in the background, if you can hear him. I think 3.1, what did we change? And this was the thing. So I think we played through with these rules, and these were the rules that got us on the most recent, on the save that lasted the longest. For the last maybe 10 episodes of this series, we've been, and here, let me show you the world that we were in. Let's pull up Minecraft. This is a Minecraft stream after all. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. Right here. Challenge 8. Run 8. This is the one that we managed to keep going the longest. We did die once, and we did die off stream. But you can see my two popsicles remain on the overlay, representing my lives. I'm particularly proud of that little invention. I think that was kind of fun. It's a little framey, I think. Not sure if we had... oh, no, it's fine. Should be fine. Just some loading bumps. This is basically the world that we ended up with. And let's see, what was our final, this chunk total was a bit higher. It should be higher than this. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm really glad you've been enjoying the series. Really appreciate that. This won't be this is the last for this series of this world, but it's definitely not the last Minecraft world. In fact, we're taking this episode or this stream to sort of reflect on what we might want it to look like next time, how we would want to start differently and play it differently. So don't worry, there's more Minecraft to come in. Oh, we've got some bone meal dropping through here, I see. Somewhere. There it is, some seeds. So this is the world that set of rules got us to. And honestly, I enjoyed many hours. We made some really fun things. I think later in the stream, we're going to talk about all of the things about this world that we really liked the most, things that I think worked the best, things that we discovered were sort of fun to do in this mode. There's a lot. There's really a lot, and we'll talk through all of that. But funnily enough, for whatever reason, when we finally implemented the 3-life rule, we didn't even use a life until very late into that playthrough. And it was just a silly kind of little accident. Oh my God. Get down from there. How did you get up there? Illegal. Yeah, it was really kind of a silly death, how it happened. But sometimes I feel like every death in Minecraft ends up being kind of silly. So, I'm going to switch scenes here real quick. go back to our rules. These were the rules that we were essentially working with for quite some time. And I think we realized pretty quickly that that goal that we had early in the first edition of the rules, right? We had this idea you want to achieve as many advancements as possible. And then it sort of fell out of these rules for whatever reason. I was more concerned with the mechanics of unlocks than I was with the long-term goals, mostly because we hadn't ever been able to survive for very long. But I think it was around, I don't remember how many episodes in that we realized that, oh, you know what? We kind of need something to be working towards. I settled on this goal, which I still think is a fun and a good one. And I think actually having this as a rule, and I'll read it aloud here. 3.1 is really just the addition of this sixth rule at the bottom. Fill a wall with remembrances, move on when it is full. Obviously very open-ended, very vague, right? This is very, this is more of a rule that you can feel than you can calculate. But I like it because I do think that every Minecraft world, whether it's a chunk challenge or not, always has that natural end, and you're never quite sure how to know when you've reached it, but you do often feel it. I think this rule gives you that opportunity to end the challenge, to end your playthrough when you're ready to do so. And I think that's kind of important. Not convinced that is the only goal that a chunk challenge should have, that this chunk challenge should have. I think maybe that we would need something crunchier, like an advancements. Try to get as many advancements as you can, or unlock 100 chunks, or try to get as many biomes as you can. Those are all ideas that we'll spitball a little bit later, and that I'll think over, obviously off stream too. But And so, we came up with these rules, and then I played for quite a bit more. I was playing a bunch on stream, a bunch off stream. And that's when I sort of ran into some of those more later challenges, right? So one of the things was that I realized that it felt to me, starting around level in the 40s, gaining levels just took a lot of time. It takes a lot of XP. There's a sort of exponential scale to how your levels go up in Minecraft, so that you need more and more XP just to get each next level, which means it takes much longer to get your next chunk. And so I recognize this is a problem, right? And the other thing I realized is I had started building some automation farms, but I also didn't want to turn the chunk challenge into just a who can build the most crazy XP farm, right? Because obviously if XP is the currency for more chunks, it really would make a lot of sense to make up the most efficient XP farm you can. And there's nothing wrong with doing this challenge that way. But I didn't want to force players to have to do that, right? I wanted you to be able to maybe continue to explore, or have something happening in the end game that was interesting enough that didn't force you towards that direction. I felt like the rules as I'd written them were doing that. And of course, at the same time, it's a little balancing game, because part of what makes, I think, the challenge unique and kind of interesting is the chunk restriction, that you're not allowed to just go anywhere. You have to stay within the areas that you've unlocked. I think that is really the part of the secret sauce. So I came up with a couple of things. One was I just sort of changed how chunk unlocks work. You can see it here in this rules 4.0. So you unlock them according to this scale, right? From 0 to 30, it's just one chunk per level, just as it always has been for many editions of these rules so far. But then from 31 and upwards, I changed it to be 2 chunks per level, which I thought, okay, that's a little more generous, right? And I had this, I showed this off in an episode earlier where, there's a formula, very simple formula that you can use actually to do this, and I can just show it to you here. It's just here. It's like a little Excel. I have it plugged into an Excel thing here, but this is the formula, and it's very basic. So even basic math folks can understand it. This one, I think. So that's certainly me as well. I don't say that as a slight to anyone else. I am a basic math person, so this is digestible for me, and felt necessary and not too overbearing. Oh, sorry for all the flashbangs. So yeah, so I implemented those things. I also had this idea, the recycle machine, where essentially you pay resources, aka burn them, in order to relock an old chunk and unlock a new one. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And like, it was like a cool mechanic that I came up with that I feel like maybe, I don't know if it totally serves a purpose in the challenge, the way I've designed it so far, but I like the idea. I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of evocative. I like the idea of, making the dropper, having to do a random pull to see how much of your hard-earned materials you'll have to burn in order to do something, right? But I'm not sure that like relocking and getting one more chunk, added to your cap again, like back, regaining some of your cap that you've spent is the mechanic that the challenge needs to be in order to become more the sort of dynamic thing that I want it to be. So that's, really, and flashbang warning, that is really where we ended up. This was sort of the final version of the rules that we were playing with. And, we did go back to the game here real quick. See if we get back to it. Might have to do this. There we go. That was where we were at, right? And, in terms of what we had managed to do, we really had made the village thrive quite a bit here. We've got all sorts of villagers with all sorts of trades. We actually did manage to get a couple of really good. We got mending book. I think we got unbreaking, or maybe I can't remember which of these are enchantments that we found. I think we mostly found things like fortune. Yeah, fortune 3. Well, that's a guy who's learning. It's not actually one we locked in, but we had some really good trades. Efficiency 5, we did get efficiency 5. Mending, this guy, he has an unbreaking 1 rod. Lots and lots and lots of villagers. After we fixed something in a mod setting, a couple of really decent trades in there that was allowing us to get enchantments that we'd otherwise have to spend XP on, right? With sort of inherently harming our chances at leveling up. And we really explored, a whole slew, like almost every level of a lot of these chunks that we unlocked, right? And we really went deep. And it was cool. Like, I really enjoyed doing this kind of stuff. I think it was we expanded it, right? We added a house. Yeah, maybe now is a great time to do this. I think I want to sort of, for the sake of the Wall of Remembrances, following the chunk challenge rules to the very end, I kind of want to take inventory on the things that I think were really good about this challenge, the things that I really enjoyed. If we can just, I don't know what the best way to record this. I'll tell you what, folks. Okay, I'm doing it on stream. I'm cheating for a very specific reason, because I want to give myself, what is it? Book and quill. I literally never found. Okay, that's all we're doing. Game mode, survival, boom. Okay, we're good. I just never found a chicken. It's like one thing that's worth noting is that I might have killed one really early on, but I never found one. I think it works like DDDD done, and then that saves it. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. Signing it makes it like final, right? So it's like hello, and then you click done, and okay, stay. So this is going to be our ledger, and we'll put this on a little frame or something to keep it, preserved for the future. But things we loved in the chunk challenge. I think number one, honestly, well, what is number one? I think, let's think about it. Let's think about some of the things we liked, and let's walk around and sort of see. I really liked the challenge of the early game. Let's do that. Early game challenge. Early game was challenging. And it really sort of made you use resources, absolutely everything at your disposal, in order to sort of get every advantage you could. You know, I think it was very tense. It's very difficult. You know, skeletons were a massive threat and were constantly killing us. So I think that there's something about that early game experience that is really exciting. And also you're really, you know, you really like the chunk restriction, the unlock pace in early game, really fun. Because it really felt like every time you got that new level, you were getting access to a really desperately needed resource, aka just one more chunk that was like right next to you, right? So I think it's fair to say that like the unlock pace is really good in the early game, and I actually want to say like unlock pace in mid game also good, because in the mid game, you know, mid game is where you're really securing. You're trying to get all of the best stuff, and you don't have it yet, right? Like you don't have the fully enchanted pickaxe. You don't have the fully enchanted whatever. And we still don't have like the absolute best stuff, right? Like we have some pretty darn good stuff. Like it's Unbreaking 1, but it's Mending. It's like, you know, it's 6 of 1. It's not quite absolute max peak performance, but mid game to me is that space where you are secure, still trying to get the thing, all of the fun bells and whistles, right? So, so I think the mid game pace is also quite good. Let's see. I mean, 4, you know, I like my house. I think it's cute. Like it's small. Here, let's lay down for a second. Hey, kitties. There we go. You know, I don't know how I feel about this addition that I made at the end, but you know, if you sort of just say, "Oh, look at that, perfect," I like this part of my house. I think it's kind of cute. It was fun to experiment with different textures. You know what? I actually really loved what I learned and improved upon from there was the variation in textures. I actually really liked building the road. I liked building the road to the village. Different textures. You know? You do like, oh, there we go. New page. There we go. 6. Like it was fun to, you know, build infrastructure, right? Like once I'd unlocked that village and all the chunks that I needed for it, to make this little pathway and then to sort of make it look a little nicer and less, you know, straight up just uniform texture. That was fun. Okay. I really liked building small auto farms. I really liked that. I think this pumpkin farm is so cool and so neat and actually pretty easy to make. That's what I mean. I just think this pumpkin farm is cool. Shout out to whoever's YouTube video I watched to make this. It was like a Swedish guy or something like that who had this video tutorial on it. So I really thought that was fun. It was really cool. Like, that reminds me of something, like probably my favorite thing from this challenge. But, once I had some sugar cane, I really, this farm doesn't work that well, to be honest. Like, it really doesn't produce that quickly. The kelp farm, though, amazing. We love the kelp farm. And it's so compact. And I just think it frames my space nicely, So I really like some of these smaller auto farms. I think they're really cool. Here's the thing that should have been number 1, to be honest. I loved. I loved realizing that I could spend my tiles in a different way using nether portals. So I think maybe literally my favorite thing, I'm going to say favorite thing, nether portal jumping. So when I I don't remember when I did this. I have to look and see which episode I did it. But when I realized that, where is it? There we go. Let's sort of, when I realized that you could actually, I always knew the mechanic, right? So in Minecraft, you can move 1 block in the Nether, and then you travel 8 blocks in the overworld. So it makes it very fast to travel the overworld by shortcutting through the Nether. And when I realized that would allow me to actually spend my chunks more sparingly, and that I could do things like unlock this area, jump over here to grab berries, which I honestly never really used all that much, but I made the fishing pier over there, and that was nice. I picked up kelp over there. That was really good. So, sorry, yawn. It wasn't like a total bust. I mean, it was just really fun to, oh, look at this. Very scary. It was fun to use this render distance option and the telescope, or what's it called? The spyglass? The spyglass combined to sort of dial in. It's like, ooh, 29. Maybe it's actually maybe like 26 chunks away, right? And it's sort of like, ooh, it looks like, yeah, 26 is like perfect there. That was so much fun that I think it would be worth taking the mechanics of the chunk challenge and designing something around Nether portal jumping, because I just think it's so cool. It's probably one of my favorite things that I discovered, and it arose just from me trying to figure out how to spend my tiles wisely, essentially. I was just trying to like get the most out of the chunks that I had unlocked, and that I was just like, oh, this is like a great way to do this. And so Nether portal jumping is just really, it's just so cool. And I think that there is a game to be made just out of that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Here's my little dropper. This is my recycler, that I use to recycle like one of the chunks, just to test it out. Let's take a stroll. Let's take a stroll through some of the areas. Let's see. Did I like anything about the Nether? I mean, I liked it as a shortcut, but to be honest, it's very hard to explore the Nether in this challenge, because if you are trying to Nether portal jump in the most efficient and calculable way, you have to sort of see where you're going. So you really want to move by 3s and 4s in the Nether, in 3 and 4 chunks, 3 and 4 chunk segments. And so you can't really ever get too far in the Nether, because then when you pop out the other side, you end up not knowing at all where you're going to emerge. You might need to spend tiles to unlock something that's not that useful, and you'll be really far away from any of your infrastructure near your home base, right? You know what? Number 8, I like fishing. It's not really something unique to the challenge, but it's just a real good part of Minecraft. We never really did do the stream where we sat here and just sort of fished and talked about things. Is that this stream? No, it's not, because I forgot the rod. But I'll come back here if I feel like I have seen everything that I've done and then have more to say. And maybe we'll do that to sort of close it out. I thought I just saw a turtle over there. Maybe I did. What else? What else did we like? I like fishing. I love fishing, honestly. Let's see. Number 9. What else was good? I thought that the grinding felt reasonable, and given scarcity of chunks, more exciting than usual. I think maybe that's the best way to think about the grinding, because I did want to say, because like I do feel that actually the grinding in this challenge felt a little more purposeful than it has to me when just playing Minecraft regularly, because you are very cognizant that you need to fully mine out level 8, level 0, level -8, or whatever, like, you know, whatever levels where you need to find the resources that you're looking for. You know, the grinding is the mining is the mining. It's part of the, you know, it's in the title of the game, but we hate him. We don't like him at all. I think the grinding was fine, you know, given the corrections and the adjustments that we made along the way. I think if we, you know, for example, if we hadn't, you know, and ultimately we never really got to experiment with that better chunk unlock rate, because ultimately, as soon as I invented it, just kind of lost steam on the playthrough, I think. So, but I think that's totally fine, and like should just be something that we think about as we are right now, you know? You know, it was fun to, here's what it was fun. I was going to say something about the villagers. It was fun to level up the villagers exactly right. And this is, again, not something specific to this challenge, but I did find it pretty enjoyable trying to, like, you know, it was enjoyable / kind of grindy, but in a fun way of re-rolling the villager professions and, you know, trying to get those perfect library book rolls. I think it really is kind of all about the librarians at the end game, because you're just looking for these good enchantments. And I really avoided using like enchanting tables. Obviously, I eventually built one over there. You know, I stayed away from enchanting tables and stuck with villager trades to get books for enchantment. But yeah, I think like cultivating the villagers up to like a good thing was up to like to having all like to be fully, oh my gosh, my words. Raising them all up to the master level and getting the things I needed from them was kind of fun, was really fun. Taking care of them, less so. You know, I don't like this wall, if I'm honest. Like, I don't really like the fact that I had to build this like dirt wall around their entire village just to like keep them safe. But, you know, them's the breaks sometimes, right? You know, let's be real. Another page. I liked streaming this challenge. It was fun. It was fun to sort of, you know, I like streaming this challenge. I liked thinking about and designing this challenge. I don't think it's done, you know? I think what I've mostly done is come up with, I've explored a mechanic in certain kinds of ways and realized other emergent mechanics that are pretty fun. But I don't know that I've quite got to that perfect combination of mechanics to make the mechanics of the system work perfectly. And then I also think, right, that the goal, the sort of overarching why of the challenge might need some more work, or could be experimented with, right? That I think there's room for experimentation with the overall why still. So yeah, I don't know. I think a lot about the game, a lot of the games that I really like, where it's very clear, something like FTL, Faster Than Light. If you've never played FTL, Faster Than Light, it's a fantastic indie game about flying ships running from the rebel fleet, trying to take secrets back to, you know, the Empire and say like, hey, you know, we can defeat the rebel mothership and save the day. It's a space game. I'm a big sucker for space games, of course. Maybe not, of course, but that's just very true. And it has really solid mechanics for spaceship combat. You've got little characters that you are deploying throughout the ship, and the timing of your weapon firing and the use of various tech systems, managing of doors and fire and invaders, and even, you know, beaming onto the enemy ship and taking out their crew. Like, there's so many fun little nuances to the mechanics of ship combat That stuff is so tight and works so well. The overarching, but again, the thing where maybe that game arguably suffers the most is in its overarching goal of like what those mechanics add up to. Like the moment to moment of ship combat is fantastic. And then the moment to moment of like hopping across sectors and going to different nodes and reading little bits of story here and there, also really fantastic. Maybe it's just very hard to come up with a good concrete goal for a game. I think maybe that's certainly the case. I can see why quantitative goals are very tempting for a game. Going based on score, as we were for a little while, it gives you something easy to say, okay, get the highest score you can, right? Get the most number of achievements that you can. And I think maybe this challenge requires some aspect of that, but I haven't figured out what that should be yet. But anyway, we're getting a little off track here. We're still trying to think about the things that we like. Well, we won't sign this because I think it's fair to return to this and add on to it. Keep it open-ended. I think that's a lot of the things that I really liked. Yeah. I mean, I think that might be it, actually. We actually have an item frame. I know we do for our nether portal, but let's see. We don't have any leather. What the heck do you need for an item frame? I don't remember. Oh, a glow item frame. Sticks and leather. Okay. We do have sticks. We need some leather. Fear me, cows. Let's do a little. Not sure why we're worried about this, but we're going to just make sure we don't decimate all of the cows. Rip. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Item frame. Let's not go hungry. Boom. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm looking at our history here. I love our history wall. Oh my gosh. Hold up now. That makes me think. I think that the history wall is fantastic. I think that's something everyone should do with every single one of their Minecraft. It was not. It was to commemorate these deeds, and they shall be forever remembered. Exactly. But I really love the history wall. It's just a nice thing to do, I think, in life. Maybe I'm getting soft and sentimental as I get older, but I really think that, and maybe also there's something about, the last 2 years of weirdness in time, something very nice about fixing a few things in time, right? So we had our first diamond, the contact with villagers was very exciting. First death was very shocking, but happened. Yeah, some of the automation, finding the dog. I just got scared one time on stream, I think, and just got absolutely scared shitless by a trader. Completed the road. We figured out how to change the mod to actually make the villagers reproduce. There was a setting in this open parties and claims mod that was preventing them from reproducing, and we fixed that. Some enchanting, constructed the enchantment room, right? And we did our mountain jump. That's right. That was our last stream. Was we went to, you know what? Let's visit the mountain jump that we did. Why don't we at least take a look and get that on record? You know, for our final stream for this one. I mean, it's probably the final stream for this. We may return to it eventually, but this is likely the final stream for this world. But yeah, I think the history wall is really, really good, and it's just a nice way to, you know, Minecraft is a very simulation. You know, it's not a simulation of the real world, but it's very much a game that's open-ended and doesn't necessarily demarcate levels or stages. It has biomes, but the order in which you enter those biomes or visit them is completely up to you, right? So it's really very dependent on what you choose to do. Where the heck is how do we get through? Where was it? Wait, now I'm confused. What the heck? Oh, right, we have to go up. We have to go up. We have to go up. I forgot about this. We never made this safer. Let's go back up. Oh, you know what? This makes me remember. Something. Oh, I don't have my book with me. So stupid. I have to go back and get my book. I apologize. And I'll say it now. I think it's just a small thing, but the mechanic of like having to find it totally arises just from the particular mod that I was using, right? So it's like right now I can't break this because the mod just won't let me do it, right? And if there's like a solid wall at the chunk border, you can't move into it in order to claim it by standing in it unless you find an opening to actually step into. I think that little small mechanic just creates like, you just have to find some weird little way into, the chunk that you want to unlock. And it makes it like not a totally straightforward process in a way that was like surprising, but like kind of interesting. So it's like, I don't even know how to talk about this. What is this? Like, I liked having to step into a chunk to claim it. Made chunk unlocking more interesting, right? You have to like search for your way in to a new chunk. You know, it's just another little wrinkle. So, let's see. Right, we have to go up and away. This was so dangerous. I don't know why I never really like made this safer, but watch, we get like shot by a skeleton and knocked off of this area right here at the very end. Okay, here we go. It's terrible soul sand that we never built something for, but wandered a little bit astray there. Here we go. Yeah, you know, I really wish that we'd been closer to like another biome in the Nether. Like, if we had been able to do piglin trading, that would have been a whole another sort of late game, really kind of exciting thing that you could do. But they just don't like soul sand valleys. They don't ever set foot in them. So, it's unfortunately, just like chickens, is a thing I never got to interact with. That's right. We did build a little bit of infrastructure. Oh my god. What's happening? We built some infrastructure over here in this new area that we unlocked. I forgot about that a little bit, but yeah. I mean, this is cool. Like, okay, so it's funny to say this, but this is totally true. I liked exploring, which is like, okay, duh. That's like what a big part of what Minecraft is all about, is like exploring, right? But there was something. Is this the down? Oh, no, this is up. There's something about the chunk restrictions that made exploring that much more exciting. I don't know, in some sort of way. It was just like a little bit more high risk. So we're going to do a little bit right now, in fact. God, like, watch us just eat shit right now. Okay. We're going to do the classic. A classic move. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. What's up here? A chicken? Imagine if there was a chicken up here. Can you imagine it? There's some bees. We didn't ever do anything with bees, but again, another reason to think about, you know, putting advancements somehow into the mix of goals for the place. There's some good sheeps up here. But yeah, I mean, pretty standard little foresty mountain area. Not a ton of new stuff up here. The bees, of course, being the most enticing thing, I think. But I mean, you can farm those, I suppose, if you just farm trees for long enough. But see, now I'm like wandering around the place. I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually, you know, start playing this again. Like get back into the looking for the, you know, various like new biomes or something. But, you know, my goal and my point here is not that I'm going to stop playing Minecraft. I really just wanted to take a moment to say, okay, I think I've come up with some interesting stuff, but maybe it's time to like start afresh or come up with some new guidelines for how to do this and then, you know, start anew, you know, with some new challenges, maybe with a faster or slower unlock rate, do something more drastic that you could do between worlds. And, you know, I can always return to this one if I so choose. So, and I very well might. I very well might shoot the door again. See, but exploring using the portals, super cool. You know, it was just way more exciting to be able to finally have access to a new biome and like the new items that a new biome might have. Like we never really got a desert biome or a mesa biome or a Sahara or any of all the other ones that I can't name off the top of my head. All the cool things they've added, you know, we didn't really have access to those either. You know what? It's technically not allowed, but fuck these guys. Yeah. Eat shit. Anyway, just still being petty towards skeletons. That's part of the challenge. You know what? That one's just for us. That one doesn't go on the audio track. Anyway. Nice. Yes, that's going to be the new the new rule is just rid the world of skeletons. Exactly. And I do like the idea of being petty towards them instead. Just inconvenience them, you know, mess with them, go out of your way just to ruin their day, you know. I think that feels like a very good rule experimentation. You know what, let's grab the fishing rod and we'll finish out our thoughts on the pier a little bit. Let's grab this. Let's grab the fishing rod here. Where's she at? Here she is. Nice. We did end up. Oh man, we ended up with some really good enchantments on that, which is pretty cool. Grab some quick Z's with cats. All right, let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. Everybody loves fishing. something that there is something cool about, how do I say this? And we talked about this actually on a couple streams, that idea of expansion. Obviously, like the nether portals recreate the colonial relationship between the core and the periphery, where you go to get your resources and you bring them back to the core. So like strip mining, like these chunks here was a thing I did so that I could find more coal, so that I could build more automation and stuff like that, right? So in many ways, like the chunk challenge can't, in and of itself, just by restricting your movement, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to avoid replicating sort of aesthetic reproductions of, real world hierarchies and forms of power and all that stuff. But I do think that there's something about, I don't know. And this is what I said, I think, in the last time we streamed and talked about this. There's nothing inherently political about just restricting the chunks you can go on. But it seems to me the kind of mechanic that, if combined with other mechanics or some sort of goal of gameplay that drives your actions, that could start pushing in that sort of anti-colonial direction, right? There's something about like restricting the infinite expansive possibilities that Minecraft kind of suggests to you, and forcing yourself to really stick to just a few areas. There's something there. I think there's something there. I don't think it's not been necessarily a goal of this challenge to explore that, but maybe the future of the chunk challenge is a bunch of different kinds of goals that are pursued. Oh God, I apologize. I tried to mute for that, but then I unmuted for it instead. Anyway, perhaps the future of the chunk challenge is these mechanics put in service of a lot of different kinds of goals, because I do think the mechanics themselves are solid. Maybe there needs to be I need to think more about nether portal jumping and how to get to new places a little bit more easily. I think would be kind of cool. Would just give it a different pace. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's very, very kind of you. I think, but that's really kind of my feeling about the chunk challenge, is that ultimately what it taught me is that these mechanics have some real potential, and they've been fun on their own to explore and improve upon. But that I think, like, ultimately some sort of goal, and it could be any kind of goal. It could be conceptual, it could be, maybe you just want to coexist with every living thing that you find, right? And sort of give yourself that additional restriction. Or maybe there's a chunk challenge version where it's all about portal jumping. And maybe you're just trying to travel instead of accumulate, right? The portal jumping, maybe you can portal jump, but not collect any resources when you portal jump, right? You're only allowed to, explore the space and do something, right? Just sort of see what you can see, but take nothing back with you. I feel like there's a lot of possibility with these mechanics, and I really do want to explore it more. I think I probably will take a break from it. I've been really itching to play some more narrative games. I've never played Disco Elysium before, or I've never finished Disco Elysium. I've played Disco Elysium for about 6 hours in the past, a long time ago. Been hankering to play that on this channel. And I think I might start doing maybe a weekly stream where we play a little bit of Disco Elysium. So I think that would be kind of fun. But I do think off camera, I'll probably think about a couple of different ways to do the chunk challenge. Different variations on the rules I'll take bigger swings on my changes than I have, in the middle of the series, because I felt like if I made too big of a change in the middle of the series, it would sort of suck away some of the, the core, the essence of the idea. But if I can take some time away from it, start a new world, and really take a big swing with a rule change, I think that's like the appropriate time to do it. So look forward to that if you were enjoying these chunk challenge streams. I think it's a fun way to try and do that. So, well, here we are fishing. Obviously we've talked at length about the things we loved in the challenge. I think, I'm of two minds about questions that like, what didn't go well / what could be better? And it's like, sometimes these are helpful. Sometimes they're not. I don't know. I really don't think it's not so much that I think I kind of just prefer, this is not in the spirit of toxic positivity. I think it's more helpful for my thinking to think about what was good, because it's the good stuff that I want to do more of rather than the bad stuff or the things that didn't work out as well that I would want to carry forward. I guess it's not bad to think about things that didn't work well. I think, to avoid, right? It's like, I think ultimately, like, need a more quantifiable or clear goal, perhaps in addition to the open-ended one. I think there's opportunity for experimenting with that. Things that could be different, right? Let's do it that way, because again, it's in the mode of experimentation. I don't know. It's not like things were bad. It's just like, oh, I tried this thing and it didn't work. It didn't have the effect I hoped it would. I should just do it differently, right? So I think this sort of like, I don't know, things that could be different. The chunk unlock rate could just be different. It could maybe more closely mimic the amount of XP that you need per level, and maybe be on its own curve. That would require a whole lot more math than I would be willing to try to do on stream. I'd really have to be motivated to try and do it just on my own. But maybe the chunk unlock rate still needs a little more tinkering with. Let's see. See, I just don't know how valuable this kind of stuff is, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel super motivated to really like dive into all that stuff right now, because I think, I don't know, like I said, I just think the things that worked well are more interesting. Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me. 17. I love the recycle machine. Oh no. Oh, it won't let you recycle machine. Recycle machine mechanics. I like those. I liked the recycle machine mechanics. I don't know if I liked them in service of the thing that I put them to. I think the random pulls of loading up a dropper, pressing a button, and then seeing like what you have to burn. I think that's a really fun, kind of almost scary, gotcha kind of thing. Very fun thing. Got to figure out what it should be in the service of. I think it could be a mechanic, but I don't know if it's the mechanic for this kind of a challenge. So that's another thing that I did like, but would, again, at the same time, would want to implement maybe slightly differently or with a different rates or something. I don't know. It's what I'm realizing is a lot of this game design stuff is like, how do these numbers feel? Like, how does this pace of numbers feel? Does it feel too slow? Does it feel too fast? Does it make you do activities that you would prefer not to in order to get to some arbitrary goal? Does it give you enough of a goal to work towards? I mean, these are really kind of the things that I've really become more. I think I've known of these things conceptually, but I think I've felt them while trying to design and play this challenge. So, oh no, not at all. Actually, that is totally a really good point about the creeper thing is that I think actually, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I think it's a thing I could actually disable in the mod. I did figure out how to mess with this more. Yeah, so I think if I turn this on, or wait, no, I have it off. Protect from mob griefing. So I do have this off. Claim chunk protection off. Oh, maybe it was this? Protect blocks from explosions. I think if I turn this off, it will make the creepers blow me up. This would totally, I mean, this would just like make things even harder, right? So it's like, that would probably make like creepers my number 2, or just enemy number 1, the second. But, you know, and that really brings me to the other part of this, which is like, hold on, I keep turning off my hotbar, turning it back on. But a thing that could be improved or changed, I think, is just like the technical configuration between Minecraft mods and the rules I'm creating. I think that I found ways to use the mods that I found that are like typically for other purposes. I found ways to appropriate them and like use them in the way that I want to. But I think to make this something that I would like want to post as a mod pack or something like that, I would want to look into, and this is like totally an off stream thing, but just like, also I just like need to learn some Java, but I think it would be really cool to be able to have a visual representation on the interface of some of these rules and to have them be built into a mod in some way. And some of the rules I wouldn't want to do that, right? Like, especially with the sort of more open-ended stuff. I would want there to be, that'd be hard to put into a mod. But things like the 3 lives, 3 lives and you're out kind of a thing. Okay, got it. Caught that one. Things like having 3 lives, or, just having a sort of like formula running in the background so that you could just see like on the user interface, like, okay, I'm level 27. That means I have 43, or well, 27 would be 27 chunks to unlock. But, once you reach level 50, you've got 70 chunks. It just says 70 chunks up in the top right corner. I can't gesture with the mouse, but you know what I'm trying to do. 70 is listed like up in the top. It's like you have 70 chunks as your, maximum cap. Would be a really cool thing to integrate into like future versions of this challenge. Sort of to just link the game, the mods, and the rules together a little bit more tightly. I think that would be a really cool thing to do before trying to actually like publish it as like a mod pack or something like that. So another cool, but yeah, I mean, I think the thing of creepers, right? So like creepers have just like not been hurting me or my stuff for this entire series. It illustrates, that challenge of bringing the technical aspects together with the intentions of the sort of more discursive rules as we've written them. So not at all overstepping. A really good point, actually. I think we're probably gonna wrap it up here. I mean, that's about really all I have to say. I think it's been a lot of fun doing this series, and if you've enjoyed it, I really appreciate you watching and sticking through it. I'm not going to delete this world. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not going to delete this world. I may even return to it in the future. I think certainly for sentimental purposes, I think it makes sense to remove the delete the world rule from the challenge. But I'll tell you what, that looks like a full wall to me. I do think it might be time to move on. So as the sun sets, we'll say goodbye to this world. Thanks so much for sticking with me on this. It's been a lot of fun. And I will catch you guys in the next stream. See you guys later.